All right. Series doesn't start till Draymond Green gets a tech. I think there's his post-game comments about being tired of the narrative of painting him as an angry black man. I'm going to leave to the side because I think that is a separate discussion from what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, and I think it's also because someone said something to him very specifically in the stands that was inappropriate.
Yes, that fan was ejected for a racist comment they threw at Draymond Green.
Mm-hmm.
And if that so that's why that's one of those he has had experiences in life that I can't speak to and won't speak to.
Of course.
So that is, if that's how he is feeling, I am not going to tell him one way or the other how to feel on that front.
No, I totally agree.
We are all on board. There's no room for that at an NBA game. You can tell a guy he's trash. You can tell a guy he sucks. You can say he looks dumb. You can't. The racism stuff doesn't fly, right? No. We're all on board, and that's a separate thing. Okay. Then there's the other side of this that we are going to talk about, and it's the thing that we talk about once a playoff series, at least for the last 10 years.
Plus,
because last night, sure enough, he's faced up on Naz Reid. Naz Reid reaches the hand in, so Draymond tries the rip through. Fine. Perfectly fair move. And a lot of guys, when they do the rip through, they hit the arm, throw the ball up in the air, throw their hands up in the air, and get the foul. Draymond gets the rip through and then swings his arm across and hits Naz Reid in the face and catches a technical foul for it. There's a difference between, because my guy Anthony Garcia from NBC Sports Bay Area hit me on the internet because I was just like, cool, awesome, highest IQ player on the court, super poised, this is great, super savvy veteran stuff, nice job, Draymond, you did it. And he said, well, he's the emotional leader of the team. You got to take the good with the bad when it comes to Draymond. My argument is, no, you don't. You have to take the good with the bad in the sense of, you know what? Sometimes he's going to get fired up and he's going to get in an opponent's face and they're going to jaw at each other and there's going to be double techs. Or sometimes he's going to get a tech because the team comes out a little bit slow. And so he's going to get fired up at a ref and try and get the team fired up in that way. Okay, fine. Sometimes he's going to get into it with a coach. Sometimes he's going to get into it with Steve Kerr, and Lisa Salters is going to report that cops had to go into the locker room. Okay. That's the give and take. Where there's no give and take is swinging your arms and hitting an opponent. That's not, or your legs. That's not helping the basketball. That's not helping the team. It's actively hurting the team. This is not, emotional leader Draymond just doing the Draymond thing. Like, that's not helping anything. It's a bummer. That does the opposite of being the emotional leader. That's a temper tantrum that's happening on the court, and it happens all the time.
You know, Kyle, I've watched it for years, and I just don't understand.
I don't get it.
I don't, because, like, the kicking, how many people has he kicked in the groin?
Or nearly in the so many.
Stomping on the chest of Domantas Sabonis, and people try, he grabbed his foot. That's fine. He grabbed his foot.
He did. He did make him stomp on his chest.
But then he jumped off his chest. Like, that's where I get so frustrated, because none of it is basketball.
That's it.
It's not basketball. It's trash. And he's done it for years, and he hurts his team. Just straight up, he hurts his team all the time. And the fact that he is either one or two technicals away from suspension, depends on what you're reading. The reason why there's a question mark is because they gave him a flagrant foul, not a technical, for when he dropped a leg on somebody's head trying to hit his head off the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he kicked somebody in the head and got a flagrant for it. He didn't get a technical for it. He should have got a tech. He should have been out of the game, and we shouldn't have had to deal with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now here he is, like, either one or two technicals away from being suspended for a game.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, dude, are you ever going to get it? I've told you this a bunch of times. DeMarcus Cousins used to ask me all the time. He would, like, go like this.
Mm-hmm.
I go over. He go, hey man, why you writing about my technical fouls again? I'm like, because you got another technical. He's like, well, yeah, but why do you have to every single time bring up all the other technicals? And I'm like, Well, I'll just make you a deal. You stop getting technicals, I'll stop writing about it.
Seems pretty easy.
How about that?
Pretty straightforward.
And he's like, okay, fair. And I'm like, hey, man, it's not part of the game. What you're doing is not part of the game. Control yourself.
That's it. I understand the emotional fire and the competitive fire that Draymond plays with is a huge reason that he is as good as he is defensively.
I agree.
It is a huge reason that he has been the emotional heartbeat of the Warriors for a decade or whatever. But the flailing and the kicking and the
nonsense,
is not part of that. That is a separate thing that, like you said, it hurts the team. Last night, the Warriors needed every point they could get. They needed Draymond on the floor last night.
Yep.
Whether you think he's good at basketball or not, like if you don't, like I'm sorry, he is. Like he is. He's good at basketball. He's not a great scorer, but he's good at a lot of other stuff. So they needed him last night. And he has to go to the bench because he's too angry. Like that's not being an emotional leader. That's just being emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's looking at that and going, I'm fired up to play now. Let's go. Everybody's looking at him like, damn, dude, we're already down 15 and you're giving him a free point. And now you've got to sit. Now we got Trace Jackson Davis coming in. Like, that's not, and to and this is where, like I said, you made the joke. Like, I don't want to talk about this. I've run out of things to say.
Yeah.
Because Steve Kerr, and this goes on Steph Curry's shoulders as well, because if Steph Curry, when Draymond Green's contract is up a couple years ago, had Steph Curry walked into Joe Lacob's office and been like, nah, I'm done with all that, they would have been done with it.
Yeah.
But they believe that he is so vital to their success that they decided, all right, 4 years, $100 million, let's go. We're going to run it back. So it's very clear Golden State's not going to do anything about it. The league is not going to, has gone the other direction of, hey, we're going to do everything we can to make sure Draymond doesn't get suspended and that he doesn't get ejected from games. So it's, it's enabling.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, it's one of those things. It's a different version, but different, I don't know, different poop, same pile, I guess.
Yeah.
Of like watching Luka Doncic play. I can't stand watching Luka play in large part because after every drive, it's at the refs and he's standing at one end of the court and the other the team's playing 5-on-4. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just packaged a little bit differently.
Yeah, it's like a weird entitlement.
Yeah, man. I
don't get it either. Like you should be allowed to do this stuff. And why are people reacting so poorly to it? It's like, no, people are just sick of it. And you were really, really, really close to that moment where they're so sick of watching your stuff on the court that your skill levels come down to a point where you're almost not worth it at all anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And, that was the harsh reality with like a guy like DeMarcus.
He hit that point like 3 years ago.
Of course he did.
And they're just letting it roll.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I've given up on the idea that like, oh, this is never going to get fixed. Like, no, he's going to get suspended at some point in this series. Book that. If you can bet on that, bet on it. Draymond will get suspended. Like, that is a thing I am so sure is going to happen.
And how does that help the Golden State Warriors at all?
It doesn't.
It does not help them one bit.
Not even one small amount.
No.
It's so frustrating because this isn't, like I said, I know he had his comments after the game, and this to me is so separate from that. Because if he was just loud, and I think that's part of it. I do think there's some language used with him sometimes that I think is a little bit over the top.
Mm-hmm.
But like, man, kind of when you play in that end of the pool for so long, that just kind of becomes your reputation, no matter what you do, whether you earned it or not. And I try really hard to sympathize in that regard. But when it comes to the flailing your arms and legs and hitting opponents and tripping opponents and pushing opponents and stomping on opponents' chests and kicking them in the head, like, I'm sorry, this is not about a narrative. this is not about, this is all the stuff about like he was screaming at this guy and that guy and he stormed over there. Okay, cool. We can talk language in that regard. When it comes to you elbowing Naz Reid in the face after you've done it now to what, Fred VanVleet, I think he got Jalen Green in the Rocket series. Like that's the thing. Like that's it.
It's like a rite of passage in the NBA.
It's happened so many times now.
Yeah.
That, man, the physical stuff doesn't play. It doesn't fly. That's not a ref problem. That's not a fan problem. That's not a narrative problem. That is a Draymond Green problem.
That's it. End of story. Draymond Green problem.